Sorry about that. I need to use this more often because I couldn't figure out where I was. Also, a lot of the platforms are beginning to change what they need in order for us to live stream. For instance, I live streamed on a lot of my pages on Facebook. I'm not allowed to do that anymore. I live streamed on X, not allowed to do that anymore. So we are on YouTube and my homepage on Facebook, hopefully. My name is Geralyn St. Joseph, and we're here today to try and get a little bit of a handle on what is happening in the world today. It seems like minute by minute things are changing, and that because of that, it's making things very difficult for people to navigate. Even for someone like me, who often has the insider kind of information, because things are happening so quickly, it's getting a little bit more difficult to nail things down. But also, what we need to remember is that our decisions, our thoughts, our intentions will change things moving into the future. What we're going to talk about today is we're going to do a card pull, and then we're also going to do a clearing. And the reason why I like to do clearings is because I feel like that's really what we need right now. Are um, we need to get a better handle on where we are and our energetic. So, in order to do that, we need to be clear. There needs to be clarity with us. So I'm gonna check something right now and see, do I need to? Oh no, that looks okay. All right. I wanted to see if I needed to, like mirror my image and all that fun stuff when we get into the cards. My name is Geralyn St. Joseph. I am a psychic intuitive. I'm also a relationship empowerment coach. Most of what I teach is about empowering yourself and for you to be able to do things on your own and then in groups, so that I believe that if you teach a man to fish, he will feed himself forever. If you give a man a fish, you feed him for one day. So I prefer to teach my clients, even if they're not taking a class, even little things that can help them along the way, and it helps them remain clear, and it will help them as they move forward in life to what they're here to do. I brought out a couple of decks to do a few card pulls. What is a card pull? A card pull is when you get a deck and you're just pulling a few cards in order to get a general idea of something. You may be able to do a full reading off of just a card or so. What I'll be doing is 3 card spreads, and they are basically for everybody. So if you're here today and if you're listening to this, there will be a message in here somewhere for you. The 2 or 3 decks that I selected for today, we have the Grand Lux Tarot. See the Leo? I'm a Leo. It's Leo time. So Grand Lux Tarot, I think, is excellent for us today. The second deck is the Angel Tarot card deck from Radley and Valentine. Beautiful, beautiful imagery in this. And you'll notice both of those are tarot decks. So what makes a tarot deck? A tarot deck is a deck that is comprised of 78 to 79 cards. At year 2000, we were supposed to add a card. I don't think most decks did that, but there are some decks that did. So that, there might be an extra card in a deck. The traditional deck is 78 cards. You have your major arcana and then you have your minor arcana. So those two things give you slightly different information. You can, as a reader, get whatever you need out of no matter what you're working with. However, if you're just learning tarot, major arcana is usually major life changes. It's about things changing in a dramatic way or you needing to pay attention to something in a very dramatic way. Then you have your minor arcana, and the minor arcana is more, it's more geared towards day-to-day life and more of the mundane things that may be happening as opposed to major life events. Learning the tarot and different decks and different oracles and whatnot. The way I teach is that we learn about symbolism and the meanings of different things and how to tap into your own intuition and your own abilities so that you can then pick up any deck and be able to read it effectively, because you're not really reading the cards. The cards give you something to go off of, but that's not really what you're reading. What you're reading is the person's energy, and you're going to, I want to make sure my phone is not ringing while we do this. And you want to go into doing different things with that, like you follow the stream of the energy. If you need more clarity, then you throw a few more cards. A lot of times the cards are more of like a distraction, because mentally our thoughts often get in the way of our intuition. So in order to put that aside, we get to focus on something. And what is that something? It's a card. And when we look at these different decks, we're going to see different things in them. You might see something different than what I see. Wherever your eye falls, that's what you need to be looking at. That's the most important part of that card. And that is where your message is. So, I put my tea on the other side this time. I apologize for the scratchy voice. I have been sounding like this for months. I don't know what is happening, but my voice is changing. Okay, so let's start. So the first deck I'm going to work with right now, I'm going to move my keyboard, is the Grand Lux Tarot, or Tarot Grand Lux. I am more than a little dyslexic, so I apologize for anything that I say, do, or show backwards, because it looks okay to me. And anyone who has dyslexia will sympathize with that. I have it. My child has it. My child's father has it. So when my child was in grade school and they wrote something completely mirror backwards, had a whole paragraph written out, I read it. I thought it looked fine. And then the teacher got it and was like, what is happening? So we often need to be aware of what's happening around us and be cognizant of what is outside of ourselves. That's just a good way to show how different our perceptions can be. Because if I see things the opposite way that you see things, it doesn't mean necessarily that one of us is wrong. It just means our perception is different. So let's see. What do we most need to know right now? Oh, interesting. Okay. I really got my Leo on, apparently. So the first card that comes up is the Ace of Wands. Wands are about the fire element. So it's about doing. It's about being in motion and being inspired and wanting to move further. So the Ace of Wands is talking about being inspired to do something new or move in a new direction, and doing so very bravely. What's interesting is then we got two major arcana cards. We have the Sun, which is another Leo symbol. And then we have Strength, which a line is on here. So Leo really is in our face today. So what does that mean? What is a Leo and what is a Leo period of time right now? My birthday just passed. I am a Leo astrologically. This period of time is also known as like the dog days of summer because of the star Sirius. And basically, what that's saying is now is a really good time to assess where we are and make a decision. Pick a lane, pick a direction, and get moving. Even though things seem to slow down during the summer, it's slowing down because it's about to gear up. It's about to move again. So now is the time to really feel in our hearts and go into our intuition, go into our higher selves and our deeper selves, and look at what is it do we want to accomplish. Choose. It's all about the choosing right now. It's all about making a conscious decision to do something. And we're going to reprogram our subconscious. Now is the time to do that. So when we have the wands, the ace of wands, ace is a beginning. It's moving forward. And again, we're talking about fire and having that impetus and finding the fire in your belly and moving forward with it. It's about overcoming fear. It's about overcoming pain. It's about overcoming your past. You are not your past. You are not the sum total of all the mistakes that you've made. You are in the now. And we need to really start being in the now. Stop living through our phones. Stop trying to have everybody else tell us what to do, which is probably the wrong thing for me to say since I am a psychic and people are asking me what to do. But we're talking about letting other people and other entities make your decisions for you. That's a no-go right now. Really, really start to look around and do your own research. I know you've heard that before, but look and see how you feel about things. Oftentimes we're fed these sound bites, whether it's a political figure or it's something bigger than that, whether it's a friend or somebody that you're marrying or somebody that you're dating. And when you first meet someone, there might be people around who are like, oh, this person is this, that, and the other thing. And that may or may not be true. The thing is for you to be able to discern that for yourself and figure out what it is that is there for you, whether or not that is something that is part of your truth. Weird things like being told that someone is a habitual liar. So you look for that, you test it. Maybe that person got tagged at by a bad relationship partner, by somebody who actually was doing that to them, and then they turned on them and decided to do the opposite. So you really need to be careful of that type of thing and make your own decisions. Then we have the sun, and that is a beautiful card. And the sun is about enlightenment. It's about thriving. It's about putting on the heat. It's about being able to see what is around you and recognizing when something is a reflection. So right now we're in the dog days of summer, if you're watching this right now. If you're watching in the wintertime, you could ignore that part. There's probably still something here for you. We need to look at, like, what are we pulling in and what are we putting out? So the sun puts out energy. Are you putting out energy to the right things? Are you putting out energy to things that are going to help you grow and help you sustain? Or are you throwing good energy after bad? It's all about discernment right now. You need to figure out how to discern for yourself whether something is working for you or it's working against you. And just because something feels familiar does not mean that it needs to be in your life or that it should be there. It doesn't mean it's healthy for you just because it feels familiar. So one of the other things when you're looking at cards, another thing that you can go off of, Ace is basically the number 1, which is a beginning. And the Sun is number 19, which is a 1 and a 9. So a 1 is the self and 9 is about completing a cycle. So 1 and a 9 also make a 10, and a 10 is your effect on the world. So this is about finishing what you start, maybe looking at old things, looking at things that you have wanted to do in the past that maybe you started and didn't finish, and picking them back up, or ascertaining whether there's something from that you can move forward with. And then we have strength, and strength is an 8. 8 is about learning. 8 is the infinity sign on its side. So it's about bringing in and then putting out. So when we learn things, why are we learning it? So if I'm learning how to do plumbing, I'm learning it so that I could take care of the plumbing. I'm also maybe learning it so that I get over issues that I have dealing maybe with water or dealing with dirt or things like that. Learning should be building you up in some way. If what you're learning is just tearing you down and making you feel less and less capable, then maybe you're looking at the wrong side of things. Maybe you need to readjust your vision and readjust where you're going. So these are the 3 that we had. It's hard trying to do with the lighting, but I'm trying. Okay. So, and that's the Grand Lux Tarot. That's the bottom or the back. So in short, what that's saying is that now is a good time to start things, and we're coming up on a good time to complete things. So I know that Mercury is going into retrograde at the end of this month, at the end of August. When Mercury is in retrograde, it's good to bring things back and complete projects. It's not a great time to start projects. So right now we're in the beginning of August. You need to check and see where things are when you do watch this. And you need to look at what is it that you're looking for? What is it that you want to begin? Because now is the time to begin. You don't want to begin during Mercury retrograde. That's not a good time. It's a good time to complete things, not a good time to start things. Okay, so that's the one deck, our Grand Lux deck. And then I'm going to get our Angel Tarot cards, which are Raleigh and Valentine. Now these they're very beautiful, and they do have sayings on the bottom. I don't always go by what it says. I go more by what I feel and what is drawing my attention. But if you are a novice, sometimes it's nice to have those little prompts so you can have an idea of what the creator of the deck wanted you to do. All right. I will never work in Vegas as a card dealer because I suck at this. For as many years as I've been doing this, I became a professional psychic back in 1994 after some very intense experiences. And that's how I was I was basically pushed into what I'm doing. So one of the things that I guess specialize in, I don't know how I would say it, is doing clearings and helping people to really clear their energetic bodies and their emotional bodies. Sometimes you got to clear out the mental body also. I'm glad you can't see how I'm struggling with these cards. I don't use them very often. and they're rather large for my hands. Not that I have teeny tiny hands, but so the other thing is when you're shuffling or you're using your cards, if you notice that something jumps out or like pokes itself out to you, especially if it does it more than once, you want to pull that card out and look at it and either put it aside. You could put it back in, but remember which card it was. So for us today, the one that did that is 8 of water. You see that? So the water in this deck would be the same as cups in most other decks. And basically what this says is it's the desire to move on, seeking something that is more spiritually meaningful, and looking for emotional growth. Now is the perfect time. Now is the only time. You need to be in the now in order to do any of this work. What does that mean? That means in our modern society, we're always in our heads. We're constantly thinking about, okay, what are we going to do? Where are we going to go? What's next? And kind of leapfrogging over things to try and push ourselves further down the road. But when we do that, we're missing the now. What can we do right now? How are we feeling right now? And bring yourself into it and allow yourself to sit in this space and be in the now. And as every moment passes, it feels more fulfilling because you're here for it. Whereas when we are constantly looking ahead and planning ahead and look, well, when I retire or when this happens or when XYZ, be here now, because you don't know if XYZ is going to happen. You don't know if you're going to get to retire. You don't know what the conditions are going to be when that happens. Be here now. Enjoy now. It doesn't mean to be hedonistic necessarily. You could still think about the future and not do things that are going to destroy your future. But by being in the now, you have more of an experience of what is here. So when we talk about the 8 of water and wanting to move on, we can look at it as either trying to escape something, like just that's a pass. I'm putting it behind me, like a death of a loved one or a death of a relationship. Or you can look at it as, all right, I'm ready to heal this. This is coming up again. Because right now, energetically, a lot is coming up. A lot is being repeated from the past that we thought we dealt with, that maybe we didn't deal with, or that we didn't fully clear. And it's showing itself to us again to make sure it's done, to make sure that we recognize its place in our lives and make sure that we recognize what it is that we took from it or what we left behind. It's for us to re-examine it again. So even though you may feel like, well, I'm over that relationship, seeing that person shouldn't affect me anymore, and then you see them and it does affect you, the question is, why? Where is this coming from? What is it that I need to heal? What is it in my energetic body that is still attached to this person? What is it that I'm doing mentally or emotionally to try and convince myself that I'm still attached to this person? And just look at those things, ask yourself, and go through the process of really healing thoroughly, which is energetically as well as mentally and emotionally. All right, now we're going to do our 3, since that one wanted to be by itself and talk to you and wanted to be read right away. All right. And again, this is The Angel Tarot by Rodley and Valentine. Okay. What would be most helpful to us during this period of time? In the next month, 3 to 4 weeks. Very interesting. A lot of water. Oh my goodness. So you see how big this is. And you heard me shuffling it. And I shuffled it for a while. And I kept going. Then we're cutting it and we're doing different things with it. And yet somehow I still got 3 water cards. And we just had the 8 of water. So we also have the Knight of Water, the Page of Water, and the Ace of Water, which is, I mean, they're all face cards. So, wow. Water is about emotion. It's about being in the flow and allowing ourselves to be in the flow, like tapping into spirit and tapping into our emotional selves to see where it takes us. So, we will start with the Knight of Water. And let's see if you can get a better look at that. Because there's so much in these cards. Come on. There we go. Emotional, enthusiastic, contemplative. Okay, so the Knight of Water is talking about seeking out what's best for us. It's also talking about the need to balance our emotions. And I think we've been talking about this a lot today. We're going through a very tumultuous period of time. And as we move forward, what we need to recognize is that we have a choice as to how we are going to deal with this. Are we going to just, let things happen to us? Are we going to take the bull by the horns and decide a direction? Are we going to let somebody else steer our wagon? Like, how are we going to deal with this? When we're not in our authentic selves, we often will feel anxious, depression. We will be very angry. We might explode emotionally. A lot of those things are indicators that you are not following your authentic self, that you are not in your integrity. The sense that we are off balance is something that, again, comes with a lack of authenticity, a lack of integrity. And I'm not saying, oh, you're a terrible person because you have anxiety. I've had anxiety at different times, and it's because I was not following what I knew to be right. I wasn't doing what I knew I needed to do. I was in a relationship that I should not have been in, and I kept making excuses for the other person. And when you do that, you start knocking down your integrity. Your emotional body steps up and is like, whoa, 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 whoa. I don't like this. What is happening? Where are we going? What are you doing? We need to look at this in a different way. And it's there. Well, there's 2 components of it. There's the physical component of, like having a panic attack and feeling that anxiety, being sick to your stomach, being lethargic and doing things like that. And then the other would be the sense of like really being afraid and feeling it in your body. Your body's releasing endorphins and dopamine and other things that need to be in the right measure in order for your body to accept it as a positive thing. And when our body is doing that and our mind is racing and we're feeling these emotions, the thing to do is take a deep breath. Let's all do it right now. Let's take a deep breath. Hold it. And we're going to release it very slowly. We're going to do this 2 more times. Take a deep breath. Hold it. And release it slowly. One more time. Take a deep breath. Hold it. And release it slowly. If you followed along with that and you did that, you should be feeling a little more relaxed, a little more focused. When we do that, we are signaling to our body that we're safe and it's okay to calm down. We are oxygenating our blood, which also oxygenates our muscles and our brain, and everything needs oxygen. So breathing deeply is something that you need to be very cognizant of. Most people, especially in the Western world, are very shallow breathers. And shallow breath is what happens when we are becoming anxious and we're not taking in all the oxygen that we need. We're not giving our body what it needs to operate fully. So when we feel this coming on, instead of focusing on the feeling, focus on your body and focus on taking in breath and allowing it to move through your body. Some people do this through counting. You breathe in for 5 seconds, you hold it for 5 seconds, you breathe out for 7. You could do it that way, or just do it the way that we just did. However works for you is fine. When we start getting anxious, when we start feeling malaise, when we start experiencing these emotions that are volatile, that go back and forth, we need to look at what is triggering this. And it's usually not what's right in front of us. It's something further back or deeper within our psyche and our energetic. And try to look at, okay, where am I not aligned? Why is this not? It's like when you get that, when you go to the grocery store and you get that card, it's like, duck, 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 and it's doing like that. It's because it's not aligned right. And that's kind of what we're doing when we're not aligned correctly, is we have these hitches that we need to figure out how to deal with them. And if we don't, it's going to continue to get worse. So I feel like water and emotions and your emotional body are very, very important right now. And it's very important for you to move forward. Aloha, Arpita. And then the second card, so the first one was the Knight of Water. And knights are always about movement and about doing things. It's usually a more mature way of doing things. Page of Water. Let's see if you can. Now you see what's in that. It's very beautiful. So we have a whale here. There seems to be other creatures here, another whale. And then on the water itself is this beautiful lady of light, this beautiful woman. And you can see behind her is an island that looks very kind of hostile because it's like oranges and dark browns and seems kind of jagged. So she seems to be like in communication with the water and the beings of the water, the animals of the water. So what this means to me, especially because we have the knight and the page. The page is often female, the knight is often male. So when we look at these two things, we're looking at really becoming connected to who we are and really becoming connected to our emotional selves and really taking stock of what's there and looking at, okay, I'm reactive to this. Why am I reactive to this? What needs to be healed? Why is this still affecting me? And is this still affecting me, or is it something deeper? And looking at that. These two cards are talking also about being open for a new relationship and moving into either a new relationship or a new phase in your relationship. As you move forward with eyes wide open and making sure that you're entering into it as your authentic self and not trying to be who this person wants you to be, and trying to make the space for them to do the same, to be their authentic self and not to ask of them to do something that is outside their purview, that is not who they really are. This doesn't mean that you don't try things for one another. The difference is, like, if you're talking about bands and I've never heard of a band and you love this band, I'm not going to say, oh, I love that band too. I'm going to say, oh, I haven't heard of them. Can we listen to some? And see whether or not you like it, and be honest. Because if you don't, then over time, as you build your relationship, you're just simply building on a lie. And things that are built on lies cannot stand. You could build a marvelous castle of brick and stone and concrete, and it could be beautiful and amazing. But if you build it on a cliff that is unsteady and that is being eaten away by the ocean underneath, it's going to fall. So if you take nothing else out of today, be in the now and be authentic. You need to follow your integrity. And the third is the Ace of Water, which is interesting because we had the Ace in the other deck also. And aces are new beginnings. And when we look at this, it's very interesting because it's basically like their rendition of a mermaid, which is more fish than person. She just seems to have like a person's head, and she's going towards the cup. So again, that's like wanting to be with someone, being open to that, being open to falling in love, but doing so with your eyes wide open, doing so looking for the green flags and the red flags, and really balancing what needs to happen, whether it's you need better communication and whether or not this person is actually right for you, but really looking at things and being open to the reality of how you fit together, or if you don't fit together. It could also mean the resurgence or revival of a relationship. And it doesn't have to be, none of these relationships have to be romantic relationships. They can be friendships. They can be family relationships. Is there someone in the family that you walked away from a long time ago because you weren't agreeing on something? Maybe it's time to check back in and see whether that is still the best thing to do, or whether there's been some changes either in you or them or both of you where you could reestablish that relationship and make things better again. So these are the three from the Angel Tarot. Okay. Oh. And again, all water, and that generally does not happen, that you have all the suits are the same. So that's really telling us that our emotional selves, our emotional body, our emotional senses really need to be paid attention to at this point, because it's teaching you a lot. We're in a period of great spiritual growth if we want it, if we dive into it. If we don't, if we choose otherwise, that's fine too. You have to do what's right for you and move forward. However it is you're going to move forward. So we have those. Now, the last deck I have is the Lunar Oracle cards. There's not a whole lot of these. It's a very small deck, but I like them to top things off. And I think they're very pretty. They usually give us a good bit of information. This one, I'm only going to pull one card. And Moon in Libra. Okay, so people think that people who are Libra, that they have it all together. It's about balance. It is about balance, and it is about harmony, but it's about seeking that. It's about being uncomfortable when there is not harmony. So the Moon in Libra, what this card means is, again, that you need to look at your emotional self and your emotional regulation and see what's throwing you out of balance. And once you see that, to then take that and change it, to heal it, to integrate it, whatever needs to be done. I had promised that we would do a shamanic journey to cleanse the energy around us and to strengthen ourselves energetically. And I think the reading today has told us that we also need to really balance our emotions and become more in tune with our emotions. So I have my special little bowl here. Now, when I do my journeys, I often don't have music or anything like that, but I do begin and end with either a bell or a bowl. If you're watching this as a recording as opposed to watching it live, I suggest that you go get yourself some water so that you have something to drink and help cleanse after we're finished. Okay, so I apologize for my coughing and whatnot. Okay. Take a deep breath. Hold it. And release. And another. Hold it. And release. Take a deep breath. And release. Make sure that you're comfortable. There's a ball of white light above our heads. It looks like the sun. From it emanates shafts of light that enters you through the top of your heads and fills you with its energy. This pure white light energy is the all that is. It is the God essence, the Christ, the angelic realm. It is pure, unconditional love. Feel this energy as it courses through you, cleansing, balancing, protecting. And it first moves through your physical body, your head, down your throat, into your shoulders and your arms, through your torso and your waist, down your stomach and your spine, into your hips and your thighs. It moves through your knees, your calves, your ankles, and through your feet, through your toes, and out into the earth to connect with your Gaia point. Feel your Gaia point pull all the negativity from you, acting as a drain to remove, rinse, and recycle any and all energy that no longer serves your highest and greatest good. And the white light energy moves out through your mental body, cleansing that, and out once again through your emotional, cleansing, balancing, and your Gaia point pulls all the negativity, all the blockages, and any and all energy that is not serving your highest and greatest good. Pulls it down deep into the earth to be rinsed, recycled, and reused. And we move out to our etheric, our soul, our spirit. And we see ourselves as shining from within, and all around us, each of our bodies connected to this physical body through its soul and its energetic ties. All of it grows brighter and clearer as the galactic, universal source energy enters us from above and pushes through any and all attachments, negativity, blockages. It melts them away. It blasts them. And the Gaia point sucks them in, rinsing, releasing, recycling. Feel your bodies come into alignment with one another. As they shift and move and step in their alignment through the solar plexus, the heart, the root, and the crown. Feel them shifting and adjusting until they are perfectly aligned. And feel them click in together as one piece, a flowing, energetic bond from the physical through the etheric. Take a deep breath and relax. We feel ourselves grow as we feel all of our being, as we are interconnected and in the flow. And as we raise up our vibrations, all connections that are not serving our highest purpose and our greatest good are shaken out and released. And the holes they leave are filled up with white light energy. And through those cords we send the energy of pure, unconditional love. To clear out those cords and to help heal whomever or whatever they were connected to. Feel yourself again as you're energetic and your body expands. Still feel filled with the white light. And glowing. We are empowered and enriched. We are healed and loved and recognized. And our consciousness can see far. And it moves through our timelines to heal and adjust our trauma. To pull away the thorns. And integrate the lessons. and balance the emotions. We call our consciousness and we feel it as it rises up to the galactic, to the all that is, to the Godhead, to the Christos. And we feel our connection there is strong and loving. And in this, our sins are washed away. We are reconnected. We are made aware. The Holy Spirit is always there. Only we block our connection. Our connection to the Godhead, to Source, to Spirit, to the all that is, to the universe, by whatever name you wish to call it. Momentary blocks can come from without, but they can always be removed from within. And our consciousness is fully connected to Source, to God. And we see around us the Merkaba. The Merkaba is a pyramid intersected by another pyramid, creating a star. The Merkaba helps us to move through different energetic fields, strengthens us, it transports us. It cuts through all that blinds us. And we feel the Merkaba as it begins to move. One pyramid going clockwise, the other counterclockwise, and then as a unit moves around us, breaking any and all chains and bondages. Removing that which keeps us low. Helping us lift off and up. Raising our vibration. And as we look around us, we see a sea of Merkaba, above and below, to the right and the left, in front and behind. We are everywhere. And we lift the vibration of this planet and its peoples. And we help cleanse and clear the land below us, the sky above us, the soul within us, and the earth around us. Feel this vibration as it encompasses all of the space around you, your neighborhood, your city, your state, your province, your country. And it moves through the oceans and up in the air and into the center of the earth. And we each do our part. And as we raise our vibrations, so are those around us raised. As we become clear, those around us will remove the scales from their eyes as they become loose and tiresome. A sea of Merkabas encapsulates the earth and all around it. We bring the vibration of peace and harmony and clarity. For anyone who wishes to embrace it, it is here. For those who wish to take the dark road, it is their right to do so. Our high vibration connects with every tree, every plant, every animal, every fish, every bug, every cell, every crystal. And as we spin up our vibration, so those things we are connected to are raised up. All of life is connected. All of life is connected. And the more we realize this and sense it and feel it, proclaim it and embrace it, the more we move in ease and love through our life, through our land, through the sea and the sky. As we set this energy upon ourselves and the earth, it will continue for the next 7 days to cleanse and clear and clarify. Raise the vibration of all who touch it. Amen. And as we move from this expansiveness back into feeling our physical bodies, we feel our feet and our hands. We feel our neck, our legs, our backs. Take a deep breath. And release. Once again. And release. Last time. When you're ready, open your eyes, shake out. My glasses are all complicated. I'm going to take them off. How'd that feel? Hopefully it felt really good. Thank you for joining me here. If you enjoyed this and you'd like to see more, please subscribe, put a like, and let me know if there are other things that you would like to do or talk about. We have our group on Meetup. I have 2, Mystery, Mystics, and Metaphysics at meetup.com. And we're located in Brookhaven, but we are international. So anyone can join, but sometimes you have to put in where we're originating from. And the second thing is relationship empowerment. I don't know why it's so hard for me to remember that. I made up the name. I don't know. But anyway, relationship empowerment is also on Meetup. I believe if you look up my name, you should be able to find them. But those are the 2 meetups that we have. And you can find that in the description beneath most of my videos. I enjoyed spending time with you today. Thank you so much for attending. When I do journeys and meditations, I might have an idea of where I want to go, but it's always whatever spirit wants because it goes in its own direction. So I hope you enjoyed it. May you live in love and light. Blessings. This is Geralyn St. Joseph signing off. Mahalo.